You're listening to I Love It When, and I'm your host, Mo. I'm a speaker, coach, and connector. You're in the right place if you're looking for some inspiration and you're ready to truly embrace who you are. My intention with this podcast is to help you see that you are so much more powerful than you realize. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of I Love It When. This is your host, Mo, and I'm really looking forward to spending some time with all of you today. I want to kind of give you an outline of what this episode is going to entail. There are a couple of announcements that I have, and then I actually want to do a meditation with you. So today, I'm going to start off telling you a little bit about, I have a break in the podcast that I'm going to take in the next couple of months. And then I want to talk a little bit about why intuition is so important right now in the world and in your personal life. And then I want to take you through a meditation. And then we're going to end the episode with a card from my favorite deck for the month of June, the Energy Oracle deck. All right. So to start off with, coming up here, this is June 2025. I can't believe it. It has officially been 3 years that this podcast has been going. And I am really proud of all 70 episodes. This is the 70th episode I've done. I'm really proud of all of them. And I'm so grateful for all the guests that I've had and all the knowledge I've had the opportunity to learn and also to share with all of you. I'm grateful for every single one of you listeners. I think something I really enjoy is getting the chance to talk with people about the podcast outside of this space. So when people come up to me and say, "Oh my gosh, I've been listening to your episodes, they've helped so much," or "I just really enjoy hearing from people who listen." And I think sometimes as a listener, you underestimate your impact. It really makes an impact on me when you share that you've listened and what you've learned, or that you shared it with a friend or what have you. And so what I want to ask of you now is, if you're listening to this episode right now, right here in this moment, wherever you are, could you send me an email and literally just let me know? You don't have to tell me anything. You can if you want, but send me an email at mo@iloveitwhen.org and let me know what you have enjoyed most about the podcast, and or what you'd like to see more of in the future. Or one other option, email me or leave me a review on Apple Podcasts. Leaving a review on Apple Podcasts is really helpful actually in getting the podcast in front of more people. And so it's not something that I've made a practice of in terms of asking you guys to leave me a review. I have in the recent episodes been asking for that because I realize part of this is just reminding people that it's helpful and that I do need it as a podcast host. And so if you can either email me or leave me a review on Apple Podcasts, that would be amazing. So I've decided I'm going to take a little bit of a break because I've been going now for 3 years, and a break is just good for creativity, and it's also good for the rest of my business. And so I'm going to be taking off July and August. I might also take off September. I'm not quite sure because I think I want to do at least one episode about the retreat coming up in September. So we'll see, but I'll keep you guys updated. Just know that there aren't going to be any episodes airing in July and August as of now. We do have one more episode coming at the end of this month here in June with a good friend of mine named Juliana Fajardo. She's out of Denver, Colorado, and I'm really excited for you guys to have the chance to meet Juliana and hear a little bit about her journey. We're going to be talking a lot on that episode about intuition and her journey with intuition and learning to trust herself and build her self-confidence. I think one of the things I've really enjoyed talking about in my podcast is connecting with everyday people who you as the listener can resonate with and realize that you're not alone in your own journey. I think one of the things that has really helped me is learning to trust myself. And a lot of that trust came from more and more exposure to people and their different journeys with their professional development, but also with their intuition and their personal growth. And so I'm really looking forward to having Juliana on the podcast and get to hear from her in the next couple of weeks. So if you have any questions about the podcast break, or if you have any suggestions moving forward for what you'd like to hear more about in future episodes, please let me know. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes up through this break for me too, and if what kind of creative juices I get flowing. I've had a couple ideas around maybe doing kind of like a series. So I haven't really broken my episodes up into seasons. As you can see, it's just been, I just go one episode after the other. And so I've done 70 straight episodes. But I'm kind of thinking it'd be fun to do a series. So we'll see. If you have any ideas, feel free to reach out. So the second topic I wanted to talk about today is what is most top of mind for me right now with everything that's going on in the world and currently happening in LA and in all of our personal lives, I have definitely talked to a lot of people about their feelings because that's something that I think is really important to bring to the forefront and not be afraid to share or talk about. And because feelings are energy, right? And if we don't talk about them and feel our feelings, they can get stuck in our body. And so, not only am I doing energy healings and doing the emotion code process with people, but I also just think creating a safe space for where people can feel free to voice their feelings and what's going on. And so, I wanted to talk a little bit about intuition today. And now, this is not an unfamiliar topic on this podcast, but I want to talk about why it's top of mind for me and what are some things right now that you can do to increase your intuitive abilities. Because I think more than ever in the world, it's really, really important for all of us to tune in to our inner voice and learn to trust it. I think oftentimes, for a long time before I started to tune into my intuition, I didn't realize how much I was responding to outside sources. So, how much I was responding to TV shows or movies or the news or my friends or just anybody outside of me, um, authors whose books I read, family members, like you name it. I started to realize how much all of these outside sources were influencing my decisions. Now, not all of that is bad, right? Because it gives us a chance, I think, as a young person to begin to develop, well, what are my opinions? What do I believe? And here are what, like, it's kind of like gathering data, right? Well, as you grow in your ability to decipher what you believe or what you feel is right versus what you feel is not a good fit for you, I think it's really important to learn that everything that we need is already inside of us. And we get told our whole lives that everything we need is outside of us. We need school, we need a job, we need money, we need, like, we get told all these things are told to us through television, movies, outside sources, our family, teachers, therapists, right? We get all of this outside information. And while it can be helpful, ultimately, you want to learn to go within first. And so I think this is really important right now because we are at a place where we get just flooded with so much information that it can be really hard to know what is true, what is not true. And when there's also so much going on that is filled with violence and hate and anger and resentment and all of these feelings and all of this energy, it can be really hard to sit amongst all of that going on and reach deep down inside and feel what is truth and what is pure for you, right? Which ultimately, when we're reaching into that part of ourselves, we're also connecting with every single other human being on this planet because we are all one. We are all the same. So that person across the street from you is actually a part of yourself. And I believe that more than ever, it's really important to remember that right now. And so I think I felt led to talk about this because I want to make sure that as you're consuming content and as you're consuming all this information, make time to just consume from within. I didn't know if consume was the right word for that, but it really is. Like if you're spending, an hour listening to the news or listening to your friend share information with you, spend an hour listening to yourself. Balance. It's all about balance, right? So here are three things right now that you can do to increase your intuitive abilities. These are not the only three things, but these are the three things that came to mind for me, just based on my experience and my knowledge and what I feel led to share today. And the first one is meditation. And not only meditation, but meditations that prompt you to ask for guidance. Asking and having an intention when you go into a meditation is really important because it can help you receive guidance on your path. If you go in and you're just like, hey, I'm going to meditate, and I did this a bunch when I was just beginning, that's totally fine too. And you can find a lot of peace and calm in that. However, if you go in with an intention of a question or like, hey, I'd really like more information or more guidance on my financial situation, then your spirit guides and your inner self, your higher self kind of know, oh, okay, she wants us to narrow in on this topic. Uh, So I want you to start to do that, to start to meditate and ask for actual guidance, because what this does is you start to get action items from your own meditation. And so I've described this before in a podcast episode that oftentimes with small group coaching, one of the things I do with my participants is I have us do a meditation together where we ask for guidance for one person. So we usually have 3 to 4 people in the group. This meditation that I like to use is from Insight Timer, and we ask for information about that person. So all 4 of us will focus on one person in the group and say, okay, we'd really like information today for Hillary or whoever it might be. And then all of us are focused on Hillary, and any images that we get, anything that we smell, anything that we sense, we take a few minutes after the meditation to write it all down, and then we share that with Hillary. And what that actually is, what that turns into, if you allow it to, is an action item list. Like when you do meditation like this and you ask for guidance, you will actually receive it. Now, whether or not you do it is up to you. But I think this was a real key piece that did not click for me until I had done it enough, because again, I was discounting the imagery that I would see, thinking, oh, I'm just seeing that Harry Potter castle because I just watched Harry Potter last week. No, the reason I'm seeing that is because my guides are using imagery and they're using things that I'm familiar with to communicate with me. It's a language that we're building. And so I would start to get guidance about what to do in my business or what to do in my life, but I wasn't realizing that it was guidance. So, as an example, one of the ladies in one of my small group one time, uh, we were doing a meditation for this one woman, and one of the other participants actually got the smell of, I believe it was jasmine, and she didn't even know what jasmine was. She's like, I don't know why I'm getting this word, but I'm hearing jasmine, and then there's like this beautiful flowery scent. And so we told the person that we had meditated for, like this, like this is a perfect example. Go to a crystal shop, go to an oil shop, wherever you'd find like jasmine oil, and just see what you feel led to do with it. See if there's a particular type of jasmine that you pick up. But this is an example of this was brought to her attention for a reason. So now it's your job to go follow it, get some jasmine, and see what you feel led to do with it. That's how simple it can be. And so I really want to encourage you to try this. Now you can do guided meditations through Insight Timer or YouTube. I really like Insight Timer just because there's so many options there and it's really easy to zero in on something. But I would challenge you to start doing this daily and trust what you see, what you feel, what you sense. Just trust it and try following it and trusting it for the next 30 days and see what happens. One other thing I want to mention about this is oftentimes people say, well, Margaret, how do I know like what's my intuition or versus what's my ego? And this is just one way to think about it. Your intuition is often very subtle, soft, and gentle. Whereas oftentimes your ego is loud, reactive, and fear-based. And so let's say you're settling into a meditation and right off the bat you get um, I don't know, an image fly into your mind about a bike accident or something, and you wonder, oh my gosh, does this mean I'm going to get into a bike accident? But it's like a loud and reactive image. That would be an example of something that I would say, oh, this is not something that's going to happen. This is what my ego is afraid is going to happen. Um, I don't know if that's the best example. That's just one example. And so just know that when it's your intuition, it comes in softly. And I think that's why we so often ignore those things, because it's not loud and in our face and aggressive. It's more gentle. Oftentimes, people will get things in a more aggressive and direct way if they have been ignoring their intuition for a long time. So, an example I could give around this would be different sicknesses and things that happen to your body. Oftentimes, if people are not listening to their intuition, not slowing down, not taking care of themselves, your body will get sick because it's trying to get your attention. Hey, I needed more water. Hey, I needed you to slow down. Hey, I needed you to move your body. Like our body is talking to us all the time. And so that's one of the ways in which you can realize intuition is all about love and bringing people together. And if you are getting messages around separation or fear, it's not your intuition. Okay. The second thing I have for you around developing and increasing your intuitive abilities is getting outside and touching the earth. So I go for a walk every single day, usually 7 days a week. And part of that is for the movement of my body, but the other part is for me to literally go out and touch trees. And ideally, it would be great if I could get out and like sit on the grass for a good half hour or something. But if I can get out and just touch the trees for, let's see, when I go up and touch a tree, it's usually for about 30 seconds. This activity is hugely beneficial to our bodies. And the reason being that the earth carries a negative electrical charge. And we are oftentimes around so much, not only electronics like the computers and things like this, but we can get overwhelmed by uh, too many, I think another way to say it, positive ions is I think how they refer to it. And positive ions, if you get an overload of positive ions in your body, it can create inflammation. It can affect your sleep. It can affect chronic pain. It can affect your mood. It can affect all sorts of things. And so when you touch the tree or you touch the earth, the ground, the earth absorbs those excess positive ions and it evens out, it balances out your body. So that's why it's really, really critical. The third thing I would say is shake, tap, or move your body to clear the energy out, to clear out any stagnant energy. And so shaking, you can look it up on YouTube, but it's literally shaking your body. Um, Tapping is a great one. Just something where you're getting a little bit of movement in and and it's something that you enjoy. And that could be dance. It was a couple Saturdays ago that I went to the Brain and Body Center in downtown Everett, Washington. It's a fantastic place. And there are franchises all over the world, by the way. So if you're in a different town, see if you have a brain and body center in your area. We went for a class. I went with my partner Tom, and we went for a class that was called the Love Heals Party, and it was awesome. It was hilarious and fun and awesome. And we had a 2 hour session with a woman named Ilchi Buko Todd, and she's the CEO of the Brain and Body franchise. And I just loved the process that she took us through because essentially we started out, we were all in chairs, about 30 of us sitting in front of her, maybe 40 of us actually. And the first thing she had us do was get up and dance. And actually, we're just sitting and like moving our bodies any way we want to, whatever feels good. And but for 2 whole songs, she then had us up and just moving any way that felt good for 2 songs, like just to get the energy shaking and moving in our body. And then she led us through a couple different exercises and visualizations where we were sounding out, like just making sounds with our voice, uh, shaking energy down out through our hands and out through our feet. But it was just a great example of by the end of that class, the session with her was about an hour and a half of that class. I was wiped. I could tell that I had moved energy out of my body because now I know what it feels like too as an energy healer. So, meditation, asking for guidance, earthing or grounding, and moving your body in some way. Okay. Those are 3 things that I think if everybody can do that, we will make a lot more progress than we realize is possible with just those 3 simple things. And the last piece I want to say about this is I can't tell you how many people I talk to who feel like whatever they do to help the world, it's not enough. Or maybe they don't feel like they do anything. And what I want to make sure that you understand, and I wish I could see all of you that are watching right now just right in front of me, what I want you to know is that you are an energetic being. And when you do things, there is a ripple effect energetically. And so if you can imagine yourself sitting and visualizing a peaceful planet, visualizing people in the parks playing, families hugging, people going for runs, eating food together. If you could sit there and imagine a beautiful world for just 5 minutes or less a day, when you do that with your intention behind that being love, there is a ripple effect. As you're sitting in that space, an energy actually ripples off of you and affects the rest of the world. This is why I believe in the healing work that I do so deeply, because I know that if more and more people take it upon themselves to do these baby steps and work on healing themselves and work on regulating their nervous system, the impact will be felt around the world. That's how powerful you are. That's how much it means. Even if you're living by yourself in your house and you're like, Margaret, I don't even talk to anyone, like I don't rarely go out. Well, yes, I do recommend going out and mixing with people. However, you could be sitting alone in your house right now in a corner meditating, and you will be impacting the planet. And so we have to stop discounting the impact that we have on our energetic ripple. right? It's not allowed. You're not allowed to discount it. You have to realize how important it is and how important you are in the piece of this puzzle. So, with that in mind, I actually want to take a moment now to walk us through a meditation. I just felt really led when I was thinking about this episode today, thinking about what do I want to talk about. I went through a bunch of topics in my mind, and then I was like, you know what? I really just want to talk about intuition, and then I want to lead people in a meditation. And so we're going to do a meditation that I've posted before on Insight Timer, or actually, I posted this on Instagram. It's just called a walk with Mo. So you're going to go on a walk with me, and we're going to ask for a message. And then I would love for you to share your message that you receive either through social media. You can comment on this post of this podcast, or you can email me and let me know what you get. But I would love to see what comes through for you, anything and everything, right? So I'm even going to turn off my lights for this. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the lights that I have going for my setting here. All right, so if you're driving, please either stop driving or pause the podcast and listen to this at a time when you have probably at least 10 minutes to set aside. Okay. Wherever you are, you can be laying down in a comfortable position, either on your bed or on your couch or on the floor, or you can be sitting in a chair. Just make sure that if you're sitting, your feet are flat on the ground. And then I want you to take your hands and place them palm up on your knees. And you want your back to be relatively straight. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. You can be supported if you want to lean back in the chair. That's okay. I want you to be comfortable. What the straight back does essentially is it helps the energy to flow clear through your body. And you always want to keep a clear channel moving through your body. That is how energy flows. It actually flows, this is what I've been told and I've been thinking recently, is it comes up through your body, out through your crown chakra, up in front of you, down, and then back up again. So it's constantly going. You want to keep that channel clear as much as possible. So now take a few deep breaths in through your nose and then out through your mouth. Another one in through your nose, out through your mouth. One more breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Right. Now imagine that there are roots growing out of your feet. These roots go down through the floor of whatever building you're in, down through the dirt, down through the many layers of dirt and earth beneath you. Stories upon stories of dirt, down all the way through to the center of the earth, where they meet and connect into the heart of Mother Earth. And then I want you to imagine that there is pink light flowing through those roots, all the way back up through the layers of dirt, through this root passage, all the way up into your feet and into your body. And then imagine that your crown chakra at the top of your head opens up like a beautiful lotus flower. And a bright white light above your head, a light filled with rainbow particles and sparkling white light, comes down through the crown of your head, through your head, through your neck, through your shoulders, through your chest, through your stomach, down through your waist, through your thighs, through your legs, through your calves, down through your feet. So you are now grounded and connected. Now I want you to imagine that you are on a walk. It's a beautiful sunny day, about 70 degrees, and you have some really comfortable shoes on. You're just going at an easy pace. You look up and you see me just ahead of you by about 50 feet, and I'm waiting at the end of the street here for you to meet up with me. We're about to cross over a bridge. You come up to me and I give you a hug, and I ask you if you'd like to go on a walk. You say yes, and we turn to your left. We stop to walk toward the bridge. It's a short little bridge, probably about 75 feet long, and it crosses over some railroad tracks. We start across the bridge, and I let you know that while we're on our walk today, we're going to want to keep an eye out for an eagle. The eagle is often out when I go for a walk, and I like to call him Thoth because Thoth is one of my spirit guides. He's got the body of a man, about 8 feet tall, and then the head of an eagle. And I often ask him to show up for me on walks for confirmation or for messages. I haven't seen him yet today, so I'm just letting you know that we're going to want to keep an eye out for him. We get to the other side of the bridge and we start down the stairs to get down to the walking path on the other side. There are always some bees that hang out underneath the stairs here. So I always ask them that they're welcome to fly around, but please don't sting me. All right, there's 2 flights of stairs to get down to the bottom. So as we reach the bottom, we head off to the right. And I ask you, as we're heading this way, what question do you have today? What is there that you want to know more about? Is there something going on in your life or in your business that you're curious about? Is there a place where you feel disconnected or lost? What is it that you need more information on or that you want more information on? Take a moment to think about that now as we walk along this trail. A little bunny runs across the path in front of us. We head down to the right where the path runs alongside the Snohomish River. We hit the path and we turn to the right. I want to take you to my favorite tree first. This tree is just up ahead on the left-hand side, right alongside the river. And I swear he's got to be, I don't know, one of the oldest trees in the area. It feels like he's kind of the father of the group in a way. He's got a great spot on the corner where he can see not only the people that are walking, but he can check out the boats and the otters in the river, and he's got a great location. So we approach him now. And I want to have you put both of your hands up on the tree in this visualization. I want you to imagine as you're breathing that if there is any negative or stuck energy in your body, imagine it looks kind of like gray or black smoke hanging out somewhere in your body. Maybe it's in your legs, maybe there's some in your arms, in your chest, in your stomach. Maybe it's near your heart, or maybe you have some in your head, but wherever you can just automatically know, oh, there's some. I want you to imagine breathing in, gathering that energy up that needs to leave your body, and then blow it out as you're blowing out your breath. Blow it out through your arms, through your hands, and give it back to the tree. Give it back to the earth. So take a deep breath in. Hold that breath for 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And then release it through your mouth for 3, 2, 1, 0. Take another breath in and do the same thing. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Then breathe out for 3, 2, 1. Now I want you to think of your question that you had for the tree, that you have for yourself, for your intuition. I want you to ask the question now. Ask the tree your question and see what you get in response. Give yourself a few moments here to just let images come to mind, or whatever you think about, whatever you see. You might see something actually behind your eyes, or you might just imagine something, or something might come to mind. Whatever it is, whatever you see, sense, smell, or just know, just make note of that. I'll give you a moment here. All right, if you want to take a moment to write it down, feel free to do that. Now we're going to take a moment to walk just a few steps to the left where the river is. You can see a few otters poking their heads up. We're just going to take in the view here for a moment before we head back. This is one of my favorite places to go to. So even if I can't take the full walk, which is usually about a 45-minute walk, I will make sure to come down here, touch this tree, and take a moment to look out at the water. Something about looking out over the water that reminds me of just how big the world is and how small it is at the same time. Really opens me up creatively and reminds me that there are endless possibilities. All right, we're going to turn back and head back up that path. We're going to go back up the stairs, hop around those bees, and make our way across the bridge and back up to the spot where we part ways. But before we part, I'm going to turn to you and have you put your hands up right in front of you. I'm going to put my hands up across from you. Before we leave, I just want to send you some loving energy. So you should see in your mind's eye white light coming from my hands into yours. This energy is sent with the best of intentions and the highest and best good for all who are involved. This energy brings healing, brings light, brings love, and it goes where it's most needed in your body to promote that healing. All right. I give you a hug, and I'll see you next time for the next walk. And you turn around and you head back the way you came. All right, take a moment to blink your eyes open slowly, get some water. turn my lights back on. Okay. So I would love to hear what came through for you guys when you asked the question of the tree that you had. Please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to hear from you via email, on social media, in whatever way, what came for you. And maybe you didn't get any images right away, but you do later. So feel free to do that meditation anytime you want. That is literally something I actually do nearly every single day. And I always make sure to ask any questions I have when I'm on my walk, or set an intention as I'm going on my walk of something I want to know more about. I ask for signs because oftentimes the eagle will show up again. This time I'm realizing I talked about the eagle at the beginning, but did not come again. So that's interesting. So yeah, let me know what comes up for you guys. Intention is very powerful. So setting the intention that you want to receive a message is a lot more powerful than you realize. Okay, before we end this episode, I'm going to pull a card for you for the month of June and just ask, what does this collective need to know for the month of June 2025? Oh, okay, we got number 16, patience. I can come into focus. There we go. It's a beautiful card. She's holding a sphere, or it's a clock. Okay, let me see what the card says. Peaceful presence, letting go of desperation. This card shows a beautiful angel holding a clock in the stillness of winter. Her quiet, peaceful energy is telling you that it's time to release the old urgency and to look at things with a much clearer perspective. When this card is upright, it's telling you to relax and let go of the single-minded desperation that's been driving you. Don't try to force your will on only one option. When you think there's only one solution to satisfy your need or to make you happy, you are blocking many other potential solutions from coming your way. Let go of the anxiety and be flexible. Be patient, open, and creative. Choose to be peaceful in the present. The universe has more options than you may be aware of. Quiet your mind, broaden your perspective, and let them come through. And then it always gives an affirmation. I pursue my goals with open receptivity. I am patient and flexible, willing to receive in many surprising and imaginative ways. I love that card for us. All right, this is where the episode ends. And like I said, we'll have one more episode before the end of June here, and then we'll be going on a break for a couple of months. I would love to hear from you guys. So again, feel free to reach out and let me know in what way has this podcast reached you in the last 3 years. And thank you so much for following along and being a part of it. It means a lot to me. And doing this podcast is actually also a way that I work on my throat chakra. And that means giving myself a space and the opportunity to just voice things, because for so long I did not voice so many things. And so thank you for listening, for being a safe space for me to express so much of what comes through my mind and through my energy. I've really, really enjoyed it, and I look forward to doing much more. So thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your week, and I look forward to hearing from you.